Well, let's talk more about the race for the White House now, because it's all kicking off. Outkick Fox Nation host Tomi Lahren and Lauren Fox News host Geraldo Rivera join me. A wonderful double act. Now, Geraldo, you are a lot older than you look, and I mean that as a compliment. In that you're quite near Joe Biden's age, but to me, you're Joe Biden's real problem, because you are full of 40-year-old vim and energy and dynamism and mental acuity, all the things we would want in a president of the United States. Joe Biden is only a little bit older than you, but doesn't have any of it. That's my problem with him.
Well, President Biden is 8 months older than I am, Piers. I'm hearing a little mixed minus, so if I seem senile, it's because I'm hearing myself in an echo.
No problem. We hear you loud and clear.
And Mick Jagger is just 3 weeks younger than I. I don't feel that his age is in any way compromising him. I think that because I have hair. I have a narrow waistline. That's where you get the impression, maybe false impression, that I physically am different than our current president. But I think that he has demonstrated in the last 2.5 years. I'm not a fan. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Republican. But I do believe that he is much more with it than his critics give him credit. And I also believe, Piers, that uniquely this election will be about abortion rights. The Gen Zers here in the United States, the progressive side of the Democratic Party, they are more motivated by reproductive rights and Roe versus Wade, our Supreme Court decision, that epic decision that voided the constitutional right after 50 years for a woman to have a legal abortion when and where she chooses. I think it'll be an issue like that issue. I want to be very specific. I believe this race will be about abortion. Biden is for abortion rights. Trump is against abortion rights. That's the dilemma the Republicans have. They are a minority. We are a minority when it comes to that issue in the country. And I believe that more than his stumbling, fumbling frailty will decide the election.
Tomi Lahren, I imagine you couldn't disagree more with what you just heard.
Well, I do agree on the abortion discussion. I do agree that is going to be a hurdle for Republicans, and I've been very open about that. We need to have a more moderate message on that topic. But going back to what Geraldo said about we underestimate Biden's cognitive ability. Let's cut the BS. I think we've all listened to this president enough in the last couple of years to know that this man is clearly on a cognitive decline, which is why he didn't announce his reelection in front of people. He put out a Twitter video at 6 a.m. This is a basement president, and again, he will be a basement candidate. The American people deserve more than that. However, as Republicans, we cannot underestimate Joe Biden because the Democrat machine is so strong and so well oiled that they could put a paper cup up and have a chance at beating our candidate if we're not smart and if we don't get the message out about early voting, ballot harvesting, and everything else.
But Tomi, let me ask you this.
To their advantage.
Let me ask you this, Tomi. I've just written a column for the New York Post in which I say there's only one way Biden wins if he genuinely runs again, as he says he's going to next year, and that's if Donald Trump is his opponent. That's the only way the Republicans lose that election. And I recommend that they should go for someone 30 years younger, Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida. He's a proven winner. He was the big standout winner of the midterm elections. Do you think, Tomi, can the Republicans actually win with Donald Trump? I know Trump thinks he can, but do any Republicans think he can?
Piers, you're not wrong, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, we are at a point now where people are not going to vote for Joe Biden. They're just going to vote against Donald Trump because people have such a bad taste in their mouth, which I believe is unfairly pointed towards Donald Trump. But there's too many people in this country, Republicans and Democrats, who just don't like Trump. So as much as I love Donald Trump, I wish he was our president, but I don't want him to be our nominee because I don't want Joe Biden to be my president again. And even worse, I don't want Kamala or Gavin Newsom. And I truly think before 2024, I do believe that they will throw Biden under the bus and they will usher in Gavin Newsom. I'm going to hold firm to that.
Well, they might. But Geraldo, just to come to you on that point, they might, unless Trump is the nominee, because they may think, you know what, Joe Biden beat him once and he can beat him again. And Trump has proven, really, since that amazing win in 2016, at the next midterms in 2018, the 2020 election, the 2022 midterms, everything Trump has touched has pretty well turned to the opposite of gold. So to me, it would be political suicide for the Republicans, but they do seem to be heading that way.
They might be. I think that Biden is the only person that can beat Trump, and that Trump will beat everyone else in the Republican primary. I think that it will be Trump versus Biden. And I do believe that the bigger issue, and you referenced it a bit there, Piers, is the number 2 on the Democratic ticket. Kamala Harris, God bless her, a senator, attorney general, a wonderful record, has been a woeful vice president in terms of the public's reaction to her. I've got nothing personally against her, but she was named, for instance, the border czar, our southern border,
she's
and
been
the
utterly
notorious
useless.
issues
no question.
with that. And she barely showed up at the border. I went and went on to something else. I think that she is uniquely disliked right now. I mean, I don't know, maybe she can turn it around. But I think that if the Republicans focus on the vice presidential candidate, on Kamala Harris, maybe they may get some traction out of that.
Well,
but
I'll make a prediction
Tommy's
now,
right.
Geraldo. I'll make a prediction.
Admit it. You got to face.
Here's my prediction.
Abortion.
You can play this clip back in 2 years' time, but if the nominee is Trump, I say Biden will beat him. And if the nominee is DeSantis, I say the Republicans have a big win. Now, you can take that to the bank. About half of my political predictions come true.
I agree.
Geraldo, Tomi, great to talk to you both. Thank you both very much indeed.